KASHER vSameach. In just a short while, we'll be going to the mitzvah of Bedikat Chametz. It's traditional that we use a candle. If you can't get into various areas of your house with a candle for fire safety reasons, then by all means, you could use a flashlight for that portion. The Sfat Emet writes that there can be a blemish that a person has on their nefesh, an aspect of their soul be associated with their life force. Animals have a nefesh as well. It's their animal instinct, if you will, or the animal force. And then there's the ruach. The ruach is the spirit that animates us, that differentiates us from the rest of the animal kingdom in terms of our ability to speak. Explains the Sfat Emet, the Bedikat Chametz transpires le'or haner, by the light of a candle, to remind us of the pasuk from the book of Mishlei, ki ner mitzvah, that every mitzvah is itself a lamp. It's illuminating something for us. It's helping us to engage the world in a manner that raises up the material elements of it in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then the pagam of the ruach, the blemish of the spirit that a person may have within them in terms of their element of speech, that's going to be connected, therefore, he says, to the notion of reciting the kol chamira, the bittul chametz, the nullification of chametz. The declaration should be recited in Aramaic and then in English. Remember, tonight it's for the unknown chametz. Known chametz, all of that, that's going to be on Shabbat morning before 11:41 a.m. here in Skokie. And the idea that the one is about the actions and correcting that through the search and the holding of account to remind us of this notion of the ner mitzvah, and the other through the speech of bittul, of nullification, the power of our speech of tashbitu seor, the destruction of the leaven. Through the bittul, the nullification, a person is also spiritually nullifying that which might have become leaven within them. Let me ask you the following: how busy were you preparing for Pesach? I was very busy. A lot of members of our shul, I have to say, Kanai Nahara, were asking great questions and reaching out with texts and calls and emails, and that's how it should be. And what a far cry from last year, where there was such uncertainty about the pathway forward. I know it's not much solace for people to consider who may be unfortunately experiencing the Seder again without the family members that they would like to be with, or without friends who'd like to be with. But at least you could say it's not the first time, and now we know what to do. And I feel that we ought to have a sense of the bracha, that now we're going into it this year, maybe with less pachad, less of a sense of, from a spiritual perspective, of fear from a spiritual vantage point. But this great preparation that we did was really all because we believe so strongly that the mitzvah of the Torah about not eating chametz is so strict in the Torah, so stringent. Do we want to be that we're not going to take any chances? The truth is that that is really because chametz and not eating chametz on Pesach is an extension of the mitzvot surrounding food. We have a special diet. It's not necessarily the healthiest diet always. From a health perspective, we have to take care of that and listen to the world of the medical experts and nutritionists to teach us about what foods are good for us and not good for us. When it comes to the spiritual dimension of food, we need to listen to those experts. And there are no experts other than Chazal, other than the Torah HaKadosha. The Torah says in Parshat Shmini that a person who eats non-kosher food, v'nitmeitem bam, Chazal say, the Gemara in Yuma, v'nitamtem bam, you'll become obstructed. Your spiritual pathways, your ability to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be impeded if you eat the wrong foods. How could a person, why would a person expend so much energy making sure not to eat a smidgen of chametz, which is a very serious prohibition, of course, and at the same time cut a corner when it comes to the world of kashrut generally? We would never do such a thing. And that's why I speak here not only in praise of our shul and its members, all the questions, all of the time spent, and being careful to make sure that hashgachas that we rely upon are actually reliable. The Chag Rabbinical Council and its kashrut staff work tirelessly, not only on the local scale and on the regional scale, but quite frankly, the heads of ACO, the Association of Kashrut Overseers, which sets policies and common standards throughout the kashrut world internationally, was started here by Rabbi Ben Shandlov, Zichrono Livracha, and is led today among its leaders is Rabbi Shalom Fishbein, our kashrut administrator. Let's hope that our bittul chametz through our speech in which we hopefully are nullifying speech that was inappropriate over this past period, and also our Bedikat Chametz le'or haner, the search for the Chametz in a physical way, also having its symbolic spiritual import in terms of the Tikkun HaNefesh of the Ner Mitzvah. Wishing everyone an Erev Shabbat Shalom and a Chag KASHER vSameach.